Talking with Turo.
Yeah, I really wanted to go with you guys to yesterday to go watch the fight, but me and my buddy, man, he's been helping me out with the camera work for the podcast to do interviews, like live interviews, and one of my favorite bands, Hell the Sun, dude, was playing. I was like, dude, I gotta try to get the interviews. So it was pretty cool, dude. Like, it feels kind of fun and exciting, man, because like I'm a people person, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Getting the interviews and talking to them about music, especially, you know what I mean, was pretty cool.
Man.
But yeah, dude, it's great, dude. Like, it's such an amazing experience, dude, and just to see like the passion from people's faces, you know what I mean, when they talk about it. So there was one artist, Andres, dude, and he was like so open and willing to talk about a lot, and he talked about like, you know, learning things on his own to like run his own, basically a business, dude, for him to put together his own tours,
Right.
for him to like put the music out, you know, like, and then he says that people were asking, well, how do I do that? He's like, dude, figure it out. Like, and that's when I told him, dude, that we have the internet in the palm of our hands, right? And dude, we have the ability to learn whatever the fuck we want if we really want to.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean, dude? So when it comes to like the LLC and owning businesses and all that, how did you learn all that? Or what pushed you to start learning all that?
Man, it's actually funny because I'd say ever since I was in high school, my grandmother's friend, actually, I'll say friend, but
Okay.
he was the first one to get me into like working for him. He owned a company called Common Sense and Computers. His name is Michael Stewart. He's no longer with us, but from there, he pretty much got me into wanting to learn about business and the business mindset. So,
How so? Like,
so what he would do, he would actually take me to Merrill Lynch, the Merrill Lynch building, when he was trying to switch out his stock portfolio or trying to, you know, make changes. This was back in the day when you wanted to make a change or invest in something. You couldn't do it on your phone. You had to actually go to the bank or the
that's right. Before the smartphones and shit.
exactly.
Right?
You have to go to the company,
Yeah.
get on the paper, right?
Right.
Who you're buying, what you're selling. And so I remember just sitting there in the office or in the lobby watching all the tickers and everything. And that's actually what he played a lot in his office. It was just nothing but CNBC.
Really?
Yeah. CNN, you know, just business
Yeah.
minded kind of channels and whatnot. And it's funny because when I was young, obviously you're not really thinking all into it, but man, it's that exposure and stuff that really, you know, plants the seed. And so over time working with him, he tried to do many things for me. He wanted me to get more into sales, and represent the company. So he would take me alongside
His
as
company.
his protege. Yeah.
Okay.
As his protege. And really what Common Sense and Computers, the company did was, it was computer repair, to any extent. So full IT support, networking, all of that. And so being a young buck, you know, just getting into computers when it was all growing, I was right there next to him, kind of learning the trades. And I thought it was more like a job or a filler, but in reality, man, him and his friend, which was an attorney, Eric Carl, who winded up becoming my attorney over time, both talked nothing but business and what was necessary all the time.
Dude.
And it's crazy because really what that did for me was make it more easier to register like a DBA. Like that was the first step. All you need is $25 and go down to the courthouse and register your company.
Right.
And even before then, at that time, all you needed to do is just declare that you're a businessman working for yourself or working for, you know, what you needed to do.
So you can get a DBA without an LLC?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I didn't know that.
In fact, I would say, I would imagine, or I had thought that the process was you wanted a DBA and then you got your LLC, but one doesn't necessarily require the other. An LLC can cover all of that. At the same time, though, you know, kind of because we kind of get into legal and trade crafts and stuff like that, or legal and tax. But the big part about a lot of that was when it comes to your LLC, since it's all encompassing, depending on the services you're trying to offer, you may need to have additional type of certifications or things backing
licenses,
up your
right?
licenses
Okay.
backing up your actual LLC versus a DBA, which once again you still would need those types of licenses or certifications, but it's a little easier to get when you have that LLC. That LLC is like a full official staple, you know what I mean, to the government, to your state, that we're in business. And we're here to actually and really let me kind of separate the two without getting too into like tax discussion. But really, the LLC kind of affords you a few more, a little more room when it comes to liability. You know what I mean? And in fact, that's what it is, limited liability company.
Yes.
So a DBA, for example, if I come in and do some work for you and I'm in a DBA and you didn't like the work or maybe there was something going on with how it went, you know what I mean? There was an accident that came from whatever I've done. Okay. And let's make a more prominent example. So for example, and something in what I do. So I'm a software engineer, digital marketing expert. So let's say I create a website for you and you're like, you know what? I don't really like the way this came out. I don't like what's going on. I want my money back. And I'm like, oh, well, bro, I did the work. Yeah. Well, when it comes to the whole process of, litigation and trying to get your money back and suing and all that, when it comes to a DBA, and this is more service-based DBAs, but you can actually sue the person. You can go directly to that person versus the company.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
And if you're wanting to be insured, this is where you start getting business insurance and stuff. That first requirement is the LLC. So that if you're representing that company, then at that point in time, you know what I mean? The most you can do is sue the company and go after the company. Now, of course, there's gray areas in law for everything, so you can always find the loopholes and stuff. But really, the most simple form of the two is a DBA is more on you.
Oh, gotcha.
And stuff. And I would say that's more encouraged for people who are starting out in the game because you can register DBAs left and right. You can do the same with LLCs too, but I mean.
So that's funny you say that, bro, because I went fucking head in first with like no research. Well, don't get me wrong. I did a little bit of research, right? But the only reason why I did, one of the reasons is because I saw talking with Turo potentially getting revenue in the future. Well, you got to have an LLC or a DBA, right?
Yep.
So first thing I thought was like, okay, I have a little bit of money. Let me go start it. And so last year in June, I did it to LegalZoom, right? So now it's Turo Entertainment LLC,
yes.
right? So I had other business ideas, Joe, like doing like a party bus fleet or doing ATMs, right?
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I was like, okay, I should definitely get an LLC then, because that's potential for me to do other business things in the future, right?
Yes.
Now, one of the questions that I have is this, dude. I feel like the LLC has been inactive for a little bit. I don't have any revenue coming in. If it stays like that for too long, am I going to have to dissolve it?
No, good question too. And this is definitely where I would actually recommend like a CPA or tax advisor for things like this. But
which I didn't even do. I didn't do that at all, dude. So yeah, that's something I need to get into is what the legality of the tax shit for sure.
Yes.
But don't forget what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Because first off, to kind of address that a little more, a lot of us haven't. A lot of us don't. And when I say a lot of us, I mean that. For nearly every small business I have worked for in the digital marketing arena, they run at the seat of their pants, or whatever the term is, but they at the edge of the seats. You know, they're doing what they know. You know what I mean? It's not always, oh, I know what I'm doing or anything like that.
Right.
And so what happens is they run into a lot of those type of tax issues.
Oh, really?
I've seen it left and right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's usually one of those. Oh crap, we got hit by Uncle Sam. We need to figure this out by this year and da. But the reason why I kind of talk it that way is what I've learned is we don't really want to spend too much time over analyzing stuff. You know what I mean?
Anything at all? Like in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really recommend that to people. I'm like, yes, you can do your research, but at the same time, it's those people who got whatever money they had. If you don't have enough for an LLC, which is around $300, I do believe minimum. Go for the DBA. Get started with that, unless you're trying to provide a specific service that you need a license or certification, or you have some type of liability that you can be liable for, such as maybe you're a hairdresser and you may want to risk how client's hair comes out or things like that. Right. Then yeah, of course you want to definitely have some advisor with you. But at the end of it, man, just being from what I've seen in the industry, a lot of businesses don't make that type of income starting out to where the risk is worth standing back. I think we, especially with the powerful computers in our hand these days, we spend so much time trying to analyze what we need. Okay, well, I need all my paperwork here, and then I need to get this ready, and at the end of the day, just go provide the service, make some income, and then start reporting that to Uncle Sam. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we spend so much time trying to analyze what we need. Okay, well, I need all my paperwork here, and then I need to get this ready, and at the end of the day, just go provide the service, make some income, and then start reporting that to Uncle Sam. That's
Gotcha.
what it's about.
Okay. So I don't really need to worry about dissolving it then because there's no money coming in, right?
Correct.
Okay.
In fact, what I would recommend is you go to the Texas Comptroller in your case, and look up to see. Well, you can also go to the Secretary of the State. I would probably go there first because what you can do is you can pull up the records of your LLC and see where its status is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it something I can do online, or I have to go?
You can do it online
I
right
can.
now. It costs, I think, $1 or something like that.
Okay.
Which, they'll bill your credit card. I think it's $1 to run the search, and then it's like another $1 to $5 to actually pull the print. And I say bill because I think they verify your card, and then they'll try to charge it later on or something like that.
Okay.
It wasn't real time. And I say that too because I get an email to this day that I think I owe them $4 for one of the records that I pulled 4 years ago. I'm like, miss me with that $4. No, but at the same time, when you do that, it tells you the status of your business, if it is in fact already dissolved, or if
wait,
inactive.
Wait, it'll dissolve on its own?
I've seen cases of that, and I'm
What?
not too sure the specifics of why it happened.
Oh,
but let's just
shit.
say this. Let's just say this. If it's inactive, I could have sworn the threats that I read was, yes, if you don't pay the taxes, because there's a franchise tax.
What?
And if you don't pay the franchise tax, which is a type of tax where if you make $1 million or more, then you pay whatever that's going to be. But if you don't make that, then the flat fee is like $50. And if you don't pay the $50, then you get another a letter in the mail that says, hey, you didn't pay your franchise tax. We're going to remove your right to conduct business under this LLC. So your business basically becomes and you have to file
An appeal?
Yeah, you have to appeal that process and all of that too, which is a whole new process and headache.
Dude, so here's the thing, man. I don't know if Jose Taylor's told you, but I can be pretty impulsive sometimes with my decision making. So like I kind of went like I was just like, let's just do the LC. Like in my head, I'm like, this is an objective. Let's get it done. It's done, right? So I was like, I'll worry about the tax shit later. I'll worry about it later. But I did get like a notification that like starting next year, all the LOCs will have to like do some kind of reporting or something like that, which I'm not really worried about because I didn't make any money on it. But I hope I would, cause like I changed the address on there. Hopefully if something does come about, they'll send it to the correct address, but I had my son's mom address on there at first, dude. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have did that. I just needed to put down an address.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were going to be cool still to this day where like I can get my mail from her house, but that's not the case anymore. So, and I should have thought of that, and been a little bit more proactive. So I'll take responsibility for fucking up that way. But when it comes to like the LLC, dude, how many businesses are you sitting on, and how successful have you been doing these business ventures?
I'm sitting on 2 right now. Jackson Digital LLC, and then I have another that I've partnered with. Jose Taylor and I actually were trying to start a third one together. Okay. Greenwood Digital, but another that I'm working with is Texas Web Design. That's the company the brand I'm trying to represent as well.
Okay.
But as far as my success, that's a great question, because as far as like my workload and the companies I've done and represented, I've represented quite a few Fortune 500 companies. I've done work for the former president of the United States before.
Really?
His family. Yeah. And it's crazy because a lot of those times a lot of those projects stemmed from me working at other agencies within San Antonio. So it was cool because it kind of showcases Texas and even San Antonio as like a forerunner when it comes to the tech space. You would expect it like the president to be working with someone in Washington, Seattle, or
somewhere in those states that are like
California, New York.
Okay.
And what I learned is it really is about the relationship. And so, my boss, Brad Parscale at the time, we were doing a lot of like extremely cheap volunteer style work, pro bono, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Type of work to win over the bids and whatnot when it came to the Trump family. And
the Trump family.
Okay. So, and I mean that was fun because again, it wasn't the reason why I even bring that up is because when I say we, I mean him and even myself as the lead developer, we weren't actually talking to a company that represented them. We were talking directly to them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? When Eric and Donald came to San Antonio, they toured that agency. They walked through and all of that. I was talking directly to Melania Trump to work on her website and everything. There was there was no middleman. So it kind of felt cool. You know
when was this? Like around what time? Like,
was it 2016? It was just before he was
running for president.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it I just loved watching the growth from that because again, this was also around the time of Celebrity Apprentice. And so what happened was we were dealing with different load balance. I can get real technical on it, but we were dealing.
Cool. Please, by all means.
Okay, we were dealing with a lot of technical issues in terms of like you release a simple website, but then when it gets announced on something like Celebrity Apprentice, and you see that spike in traffic, you know, you go from 20,000. Well, I say 20,000. You go from 200 people randomly looking at something, all of a sudden to 2 million, 5 million in hours.
When you say looking at something, do you mean like Google searches? Like
are we going directly to the website?
Okay, so it was the website that you were designing for. What was the name again?
Melania Trump.
There you go. And how are you able to look at the numbers in real time? Is there like a software that you use?
Yes. So there's different layers of it. There's the front end software layer, which you know. Try not to get again too technical on it all, but the software layer. Okay, so there's the back end, which is the server, the computer itself. This computer,
right?
If this computer, because I mean, at the end of the day, you could set this computer to run itself as a server and load websites. Yeah, like the crazy thing to think about when the internet, man, it was a military kind of thing. So what that meant was it was just utilized to serve documents and papers back and forth with the military, and then they released it out to the public.
That's what I heard too, that before the internet was a thing, that the military had it first.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
And here's the crazier thing: if you look up how, because when you really ask yourself, how are we wirelessly connecting to Europe and well, we're not. There's huge ass cables going underwater from here into Europe.
Is that really?
Yeah,
I thought it was the satellite that
that's
we were connecting.
That's part of it. No, we have
so you need
hardwired cables, large underwater, traveling from, I believe it was Alaska to Russia or something like that. Is one set, and there's other sets on how the internet is actually connected.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that until I looked it up.
Yeah, no one ever talks about it. No one ever says that. They don't want to say it.
I was like, how are we connecting to it? Because when you think about it, when the satellites go down, nowadays, I'm not sure how long they've maintained that and how reliable that really is. But there's actual hardwired cables connecting us, like connecting countries together.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, really, it's just to serve documents, serve paper. That's what the internet is.
Yeah,
it's a document reader or something like that.
Information to and from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so when it came to all of that, actually, I forgot my point.
I think we were talking about like your LLC, and then like you were working with the Trumps, and you were creating the website, and then you saw the traffic. And
yes. So now I forgot. I got so deep into it.
No. So, but I like that though.
So the back end is really, this is just the computer. So what you would be doing is you would, in order to run as a server, while you're connected to the internet, you have an IP address.
Yes.
That's the start.
Right.
And so if people knew your IP address, they would type that into the browser, and it would take us to your computer or ping to your computer.
Because it's a server now. It's
Correct.
not just a computer.
Correct. Okay. If I did that right now, of course, when we talk about cybersecurity and just how things are set up, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to kind of time out, I guess you would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But if your computer turned on and you utilize the software to say, yes, I'm running a server, what would happen from there is if I typed in your IP address, it would connect over to you. And
from a remote device? Or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm trying to remember the easiest software that could kind of start that, but we're kind of talking primitive in terms of what's going on.
Cool. Like Python or something, or
that you can the software layer on what's gonna make it run as a server is one thing, but Python is scripts and code that can run on a server. A better way for me to explain it actually is think The best software back in the day was Windows. So you had Windows, 95,
Yeah.
Windows ME, and then
Vista.
they have Windows Server.
Okay.
And so what you would do is the easiest way at that time is just install Windows Server. And what it would do is it would configure the network configuration itself. Because
Right.
really that's what you're doing. You're trying to configure your network
Yeah.
and your computer to respond that when someone pings that IP,
I see.
then boom. Now this is getting a little very primitive in the sense that if I were to type your IP, it's actually going to ping to your internet service provider that then points over to your computer or
Right.
your home. But you would install like an operating system
Mm.
or some type of server software.
Like
That-
what? Like Linux?
Well, no, like Windows.
Like Windows, okay.
Yeah, that would be your server software and the operating system. It's kind of
Yes.
like a 2-in-1 kind of package.
Okay.
Linux, yeah, definitely. That's probably one of the easier routes that most people would do nowadays.
Okay.
Because when you're thinking Windows, you're thinking enterprise and
Right,
stuff like that.
right.
And there's a whole bunch of set of security protocols and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
regulations and stuff with that, with the software itself. But with Linux or something like that, it's really, in command line, how you're configuring that software. And again, that's usually how servers are actually set up. You pretty much choose, you want like CentOS or Debian or whatever. They're all Linux-based servers anyway.
I see.
Or
Okay.
you can have a Windows server. But
Gotcha.
what you're doing is you're setting that up on your computer to where when someone pings that IP address, boom, it's going to launch whatever that server software is going to run. And at
Okay.
that point, it's going to say, well, what are we doing here? Are we going to serve a certain directory? Because really, once again, you're just pulling up a folder that has a bunch of files in it. And the browsers are reading those files such as an HTML file
Okay.
or a PHP file. These are all different like extensions
Right.
that essentially say, hey, at the end of the day, this is the home page. This is that page, blah, blah, blah. And all of that's running on the back end.
I see.
So there's that back end where, again, it's all done on the computer.
Right.
The front end is what the user sees
Okay.
and is what's run via the user's information. So your browser, your computer, things like that. And so, yeah, you do have different options on how you want to set, your security and monitoring when it comes to things like that. And there's two layers to it. Again, the server software typically will provide that type of analytics and information saying this is what the server hit, these are the pages it hit. And that's important to know because then it's giving you that real general overview to understand which folders, which directories, which files are being read
Right.
and queried basically versus the front end where it's probably more directive. It's like, okay, this is how many people went to your website. This is how many people went to your homepage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not often, unless the two are communicating with one another, that you're going to get on the front end to say, hey, Arturo tried to go to, MrJoeJackson.com / Arturo is cool. You know what I mean? The only way it's going to know that is if I look at the server itself and
Gotcha.
see the folders.
Gotcha.
If you go to that on the website, it's just going to give you a little error and stuff like that.
I see. Okay.
Again, I say primitive because nowadays software is so advanced that they
Right.
both kind of say the same thing
Yeah, true,
nowadays.
true.
But that's how we were able to read it. So when we're reading
Okay.
those analytics and we're seeing, oh my God, a spike in traffic.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Melania announced last night this, and within that hour, you're seeing 1 million people just jump straight
Mm-hmm.
to that server.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine how that would be on your computer. Like imagine 1 million people all trying to open up files like 1 million times.
That wouldn't crash the system?
It does. That's
does?
where you start talking about things like load balancers.
I see.
To where it kind of literally does what it says. It's going to balance that load of all those people trying to load onto
Right.
your computer.
Right.
You have different caching. You have different servers on how, like Redis cache, and different ways on how you want to serve that content out. But ultimately, knowing that kind of technical, mindset and background was where we were tested the most when it came to, those types of sites launching.
Okay.
And it can be a very basic website with a couple of words and pictures
Right.
for 1 million people. And clients, why is this even important, by the way? Clients will do something like, maybe you start a cookie business.
Okay.
And you take your cookie business to My San Antonio or News 4SA or something like that. Well, that can give you traffic too. You can easily get 20, 30,000 people.
To your website?
Yeah,
Is that-
to your
okay.
website. And the next thing you know, your site's down. And you're like, what happened? Well, you had a whole spike in traffic.
Oh, man. Okay.
So it's kind of thinking that. And that's usually the difference between like advanced, like digital marketing experts or people who kind of understand stuff like that.
Right.
And people who are just kind of going and doing what they know. is being able to prepare for those kind of moments, and they do happen.
Yeah.
It could even be a couple dozen people that came to the site, because a lot of sites nowadays, they're using shared resources. So like your computer could run off of that one IP. You can run like 1,000 different websites all you wanted.
Okay.
And that's technically the next thing I actually was going to say earlier too, was after the IP thing is nice, but you know, in terms of privacy and stuff, this is where you would go to the internet, the W3C, I think, Worldwide Consortium or something like that, and you're registering a domain. This is when you start, you know, putting in like arturoiscool.com or something like that, and they know to ping it to you.
So before I go to the next question, all of this that you were explaining is how you got your business, right? Like it's because. Okay,
yes.
So sorry, I'm not trying to cut you short, dude.
You're good.
It's just because I don't want to forget my question, which I think I forgot. But
Sorry.
No, it's cool. So what are the two businesses that you have right now? And I'm assuming that it involves IT, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The main one that I've actually am doing and focused on is Jackson Digital LLC. Mr. Joe Jackson was his own separate moniker as well, DBA and everything. But my full focus on that is digital marketing consultant, full service digital marketing, IT, software architecting, things like that. And software architecting is, you know, where you're sitting one-on-one with the CEO and saying, okay, what are your business's needs? Okay, well, this is the best type of software you need to use and why, and how we can pretty much link that together. And solve the problem that you're having. Okay. If that makes sense.
No. Yeah, it makes sense. And is this like client based? You get clients that you work for, or
yes?
How much revenue do you put? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to say like the exact number, but is it pretty like steady with the revenue?
So I'll tell you this much. Like I'll be completely like transparent about that. I was able to do both. For me as a business, it made a standard salary. We're looking at 50, 60K for the year. And it's not so much because I was putting in the work. You know what I mean? That's part, like it came so natural for me that it's just a second nature kind of thing.
I like that.
And I never put in the grind in the sense of, okay, this is all I have, let me do it. As a guy, as that tech guy, that tech guru, I always got offered, you know, well-paying jobs, well-paying gigs. That's awesome. Like,
were you doing the footwork to find these jobs, or they were reaching out to you?
It was both.
Both?
Like, it's
awesome.
crazy, dude. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was a race thing or what, but in the interviews, I saw in their eyes the shock on what I knew, and I'm like, what kind of candidates y'all have?
I see. It's almost like, do you think that it was people kind of faking it to make it, that they didn't really know their stuff?
Yes. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because you have a balance in the tech space. You either have the guy that grew up in all that and kind of knows way more everything too much to be for their own good, or the person who knows just enough to get it done, but they don't really experiment. Like, you know what I mean? Like how they
don't dabble,
and
right?
Yeah.
Like they don't dabble in it. Okay.
Yeah. And so they just know what they know.
Gotcha.
Versus, or they do what they know versus knowing what they do. You know what I mean? And I feel I'm someone who knows more what I do than just doing what I know. Like I'm so experimental. I'm so all in different places. And when it came to my career, so it was always a supplement when it came to my business. Because at the end of the day, I would partner with CEOs, run with them, especially just being a consultant. And they would offer me quite the pay
amount
for it. Yeah.
Joe, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, brother, because and I'm not trying to go off topic from you, but right now, dude, what I feel like is like, you know, I'm just like, I won't call them dead end jobs, you know, because they pay better than most places. Like right now I'm doing collections for a company. I was gonna say the name of the company. I'm doing collections right now, right? So for a company, because I was working at USAA, dude, and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna be honest to everybody right now, dude. It's my fault. Why? Because I kept waking up late. Why? Because I was staying up late, or maybe I was partying with my friends. You know, I'm not afraid to admit that, dude. You know, like I fucked up. Anyways, so I just feel like, you know, these jobs, dude. Like I'm at $20.50 an hour. I was at 22 at USAA, but bro, I want the money, Joe. Like I see the way that you and Jose Taylor are very successful, and this is something that I really need in my life, bro. And one thing that I'm really thinking about a lot, dude, is this. It's like I need to accomplish these things before I die, because it's gonna really suck, bro. If like I had a buddy of mine, dude. I feel like he kind of lived his life, you know, from job to job, moving from place to place. I'm doing the same thing right now too, man. Like I've moved, I can't tell you how many times after me and my son's mom split up, right? This is like my 5th or 6th place that I've just moved into. And lucky for me, dude, that I met Adrian and Nico, because like they're so cool, dude. Right off the bat, like we just vibed.
Yeah.
And like he's very creative. Like this is all his shit right here. Like he records, dude. Like he has a studio in the other room in his bedroom. I'm getting chills talking about it. But it's,
I love that drum set.
Yeah, dude. Like he's actually working on my song that I'm gonna drop soon. I'll show it to you after we're done with this. But I was finding them, dude. This is now I feel like this is, you know, a house that I can live in, because I was renting rooms, you know. But now my name's on the lease.
Dang.
This is besides the point. But like what I'm trying to say is this, man. It's like I want to have my own place for me and my son. I don't really care too much for the lavish things, the nice cars and the nice clothes. What I care about, I did in my early 20s.
Yeah.
What I care about now, dude, is just to have success and financial freedom for my son to live with me. Because here's the thing, man, and we're going to go to the next topic with this, and it's a nice transition, is me and my son's mom, like we haven't been getting along very well. I will admit, man, that like maybe I haven't been the nicest person. Maybe I said some fucked up shit to her when I was drinking. You know, maybe when she asked for money, I gave her attitude about it. I didn't have to do those things, but I feel like a little bit of that, plus her having a boyfriend, drove her to put me on child support. And I'm still having a hard time dealing with it. And I'm still having a hard time accepting it. Why? Because I was there helping, dude. Like maybe I could have been doing more. She says I've been doing the bare minimum. And, you know, I didn't argue with her on that. I was like, okay, fine. Maybe I could have been doing more. But whenever she asked for money, dude, or asked to pay the bill, you know, before I started losing money, because I came back from the oil field, man, and I was working at Alorica. It wasn't paying a lot. I didn't have enough money to support myself and give her some money to help, but I did when I could. Anyways, dude, she got fed up. She put me on child support. This is another reason why, Joe, that I need to be successful in IT. And I get it, man. Kudos to people who are blue-collar workers who wake up in the morning and do welding and truck driving and HVAC. They make a lot of money. But my thing is, Joe, is like I feel like I know my way around computers enough that I know I can do IT, and I can also come home and not work strenuous hours and be out of the house for strenuous times. I want to try to have my work-life balance where I'm doing shit like this, my music, and still make enough money to support myself and my son.
Dang.
Now, with all that being said, man, tell me or tell anyone else that's listening and watching where they could go to get the IT done and where the money's at. My plan is to go to the boot camp in UTSA. That's my plan. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I see you, man. You always got a positive attitude, and even though like shit might be happening to you, it happens to everyone. You got the money to feel good. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
I don't know why I'm gonna choke up right now, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, bro, you better not do that to me, because I was telling myself that actually on the way here. I'm not gonna choke up when I talk about my baby mama and all that stuff, because it's been hell too, bro. Same here. But what I want to say real quick is 2 things, man. It's funny you keep saying success. I keep hearing that, and I just want to say something real quick as like a preface to that. I talk to a lot of business owners, like for example, Bill Cox of Cox Manufacturing, multi-million dollar business, one of the biggest manufacturers here and stuff. And I just love sitting down and talking with them and understanding their mindset. I told you about my attorney, Eric Carl. You know, he's pushing his 80s, 82. I talk to a lot of men who are 55, 60, 70. And what I'm learning is those that are successful at that age typically started and did their, I say started, but typically really did their pushes in their 50s. And they still see, that's why they still call us babies, because we're still learning and everything. And I think our biggest problems is 2 things, twofold about that. One, money is energy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we were utilizing the energy to do whatever we were needing to do at that time. And so there's some people, you know, you're going to come across a heavy amount of money or energy and reinvest it in the right things and watch it go tenfold and stuff. Right. Man, I'm the guy who, I made a lot of money, but I blew a lot of money too. You know
I did, bro. I did.
I love looking at my receipt. I love this. I love looking at my receipt for child support and realizing I've paid over $100,000 to my child,
dude.
Like, to me, I'm like, you know what? That's the investment towards my child financially.
Yes.
That I'm proud of having said I did. I stuck to.
Yeah.
And kind of, you know, bringing it all back in there. At the end of the day, man, especially with our young choices and stuff, I respect you recognizing that stuff too, because it wasn't until I got my kids full time, a majority of the time, that I'm now looking back and I see the frustrations that my original baby mama could have had. You know what I mean?
Like
When
you
they're
take into consideration what she might have been feeling or thinking,
Yes,
right? Because it's a lot of work.
bro. It's the daily frustrations
Yeah.
of like you're sleepy and tired as fuck, and you have a baby crying that wants something that's something small. Like, I want my toy. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm at the end of my energy. Like, or I'm hungry. And not just I'm hungry because there's no food, but I'm hungry because I want this particular food. And you're mad because, bro, I just spent my last $20 getting groceries.
Yeah.
And
You're not gonna
mom
eat.
is probably over there partying or whatever. And why can't you just send me $5 now? You know what I mean? It'd be things like that. But now it's going to go into that next piece that I've learned. Because again, a lot of men coming from the oil field, coming from the military,
Right.
coming from these type of big ticket kind of things, took that money, dropped it into maybe real estate, and watch it come unfold. So I would think to myself, I'm like, man, this is a long path I'm gonna have to do to be successful like that. Until I realized the secret of it.
What's the secret?
The leverage and the credit and how money really is
How money
energy.
really works?
Yeah, how it really like. And so what I mean by that is you could start zero today, but with the right grind and hustle, by next month, it would seem like a distant memory.
What would you consider as the right grind and the right hustle, man? Because I feel like I'm trying everything, Joe. No, I take it back. Maybe I'm not trying everything. Maybe I'm not like doing more than I need to do, and like I'm doing the bare minimum, dude.
Yeah.
I think I just realized that talking to you right now. I could be doing more.
We are, because we're human and we're at that age where I think it's because of our, maybe we're in our midlife or quarter life crisis. I would do this. Like, a lot of people talk, a lot of it is regurgitation. And it's regurgitation from actual successful experts. So I'm not, it's not stuff you're pulling out of the air out your ass or anything. But one of the big things I would say, if I had to start over really, like literally today, number one, I would associate with the right people. I would make sure I'm around the right group of people. And what do I mean by that? If I have to go to the club and see who's, actually balling, like, and better yet, here's another version of that. If I'm going to the club, I want to get to know the bouncers. I want to get to know the cleaning people, the cleaning staff, and I want to get to know, even the bartenders to some extent. But bartenders is a little more difficult because they got to know everybody.
Right.
And then I want to get to know the owner. Not because I want to flash or go in there and get the hookup, but because that's the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I corrected myself when I talk about the people balling and buying bottles, because a lot of those people are just using their paychecks. You know what I mean? They're literally
for the evening.
Yeah, it's
just
that's
for
it
one night.
for that night.
Yeah.
Like, because the real people with money, they don't have to,
Are the producers, not the consumers.
Yes,
Right?
they don't. That you don't want to blow all your hard-earned money just to impress. Man, got better things to do than
Dude,
that.
so there's a video I saw the other day of a Russian mob boss, right? And like, I like the way he said it, because with the accent, it's like produce, and consumers consume. So, he's like, the people who try to buy the latest iPhone, those are consumers. Those are the people that would not make money or be successful. The producers are the ones that built the iPhone, and now they have people buying the product. So I'm glad that you say that, dude, because like, I feel like I could be doing more with my podcast as well by going out to like bar owners, right?
Yes.
So we had a buddy come in a couple weeks ago from California, and he's like, "Hey, Arturo, I think I know what your niche is." He's like, "What's up?" Because he knows like how much I drink sometimes, right? He's like, "You can go to bars and talk to the bar owners," which I plan on doing, but like, I guess I can really sit down with them and see like their business aspect of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But go ahead, continue. So you want to get to know the owner, you want to get to go ahead.
Because I want to. What that does is it forms a different conversation, a different layer. And that difference is the difference between you being that producer and consumer. Because it's what creates those small little seeds, or plants those seeds in your head that, when you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh man, I got to go over to this other bar because I remember the bar owner mentioned this and how he has to do that. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I loved hanging out with the women that were connected with those people.
Really?
Like, I'm telling you, I'm hanging out with women that you wouldn't even think twice because they're not Wilhelmina models. I've hung out with them too, but when you're hanging out with just the average women that have those very bar owners and business owners texting them all day, you see it. And so all you're trying to do is just get in that circle.
Okay.
Because really your life, your thing, what you're looking at really does start from the people you're around, number one.
Right. Right.
Number two, then get into something like sales. Get straight in it, because sales is one of the highest paying things.
Man, I don't need. Okay, I'm being honest. I don't know if I'm good at sales, brother. I can talk. I can talk
the
all
personality.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I can. I can talk all day long, and I'm very. I've been told a lot. I'm very good with talking with people. However, I believe when I'm trying to sell something, it's a whole different ballgame, man. Because like you need to sway these people to think that whatever you're selling them, they need it.
And see, that's what I mean, though. That's part of that mindset you're talking about right now. You're already thinking of how to sway something. If you believe, like that green tea you're drinking, if you believe that green tea is actually helping you, is solving a problem, is doing something for you, then you're no longer swaying anyone to want to buy it. You're demonstrating and showing them through your own life and your own demonstration. Look, this is what it's done for me. You should definitely try it. Like if I was you, I would sit here. You know, it's almost like sell me a pencil.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Sell me this
Wall
phone
Street,
or something.
like,
Yeah.
sell me this pen.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to get, is we're trying to extract your mentality, because if you're coachable and teachable, we can teach you the technicalities of walking someone down the paths of yeses, and your ABCs always be closing, how to close and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, there's some people who are just good at flat sales that you're like, bro, I know you're selling me. But then there's others where it's just a conversation.
I see.
And at the end of the conversation, the other person felt your energy, and they're like, you know what? I'll give that a shot. That green tea seemed like it can do something.
To be honest, I'm kind of curious. I've been thinking about it for a little bit. I'm kind of curious to do sales just to see if I got it. I know I got it. I know it. Bro, Joe, I'm going to tell you this, dude. Like, it's funny to think about how the person I used to be when I was growing up in my early 20s, and when I was with my son's mom, and to the person that I am now. And what I mean by that is this, man, that I feel like any task that you give me, I will fucking complete it. Any mission that you give me, dude, I will fucking do it. I will fucking, any interview that you put me in, I will kill it. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, dude, is because I know that anything that I do in life, I will achieve and be successful. I just need a little bit of direction.
Right. That's what, that's what I'm
Now,
hearing.
let me ask you this. Why do you bring up sales? Like, is that good for IT, or do you mean that's just good to have, like, under your belt?
I bring up sales because sales is the most direct path to success. Like, sales is the most rewarding financially. Like, sales is the difference between you becoming a millionaire next week, next year, and not, because this world goes around. Sales is marketing. Sales is, conversation, is networking, is connecting, is all of that. Is being able to be, and so it's not just, okay, I'm gonna go work over here at this, water softener company and learn how to sell water softener.
Right.
That's a good idea, because they'll teach you the actual steps of it. But really, it's about trying to find something you're passionate about that you can go out and just hustle all day telling people. Most people in the music industry, their sales is their CDs or their album. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, check this out.
The tours.
Yes,
The tours.
that as well. I think I just had feedback there.
That's weird that mic does that, because this is different. This is Adrian's. These two I use Shure's, but
Yeah.
it's weird because like when you hit it, I was like, did you hear that earlier?
Yeah,
And
I
it just,
did.
yeah, it hummed. That's weird. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continue.
So yeah, at the end of the day, like, I see it, that though when you're in business, that's what you're doing. You're selling your business, you're selling yourself. So sales is it. And if you're bad at it, you of course hire a salesperson.
Okay, so let me take it back. When I think of sales, I think of like door to door. When I think of sales,
Yeah.
I think of like something you don't believe in. I take it back. I can fucking do sales, dude.
Yeah.
I can do it straight up.
day.
Like, dude. Okay, so like when it comes to sales, like I feel like talking with you is like my baby. It's like my product. It's my brand, right? And I feel like me doing this is giving me the experience that I need for everything else in life that I want to obtain. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, oh shit. Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
gravy. What I would actually recommend then in that case, because again, I'm hearing you, and what I'm hearing is that desire for direction, because you're saying, tell you about it, and you'll hustle and do it to the end for me. You know what I mean? That's what I heard earlier. And so what I'm translating that is, well, then do that for yourself. Like, what do you need? And here's to kind of connect the dots. This is where you would want to join business groups, either a business group at your church, a business group within your community, or a circle of friends who just happen to be business owners, because it brings you into that mindset. It hypes you up in a way that you're like, oh shit, that's all I got to do.
which is like you, Angel, and Jose Taylor, right? But I feel like I don't spend too much time with you guys, and it's nothing that like we're doing purposely. It's just we all have our own thing going on in life.
Yeah.
But I get it. Go on. I'm sorry.
That's an attempt. That works. I do like that. For me, it was with my church because we actually have a monthly meeting, and in that monthly meeting, there's an agenda where, you know, things we want to unpack for our businesses, questions we may want to ask the other business owners and stuff like that. And so at the end of the day, that starts to answer your questions because you're like, look, guys, this is what I'm feeling. Now, of course, at church, you'd be doing it in the realm of God, you know, so you're like, I feel like God wants me to do this, but I'm over here wanting to do, and y'all would talk together and kind of give you that step-by-step advice, like actionable steps on what you can do for your business. So when you talk about the talking with Turo, the next connection of those two. So when you're surrounded by the right people and you have the right circle of friends and you're getting good at sales, or you're getting good at socializing, and what sales really means is connecting and being able to convince and do that next thing is opportunity. And the reason why I put opportunity third is because, believe it or not, opportunity was there the whole time. It's always around us. Opportunity is when you're walking to your mailbox and you see your neighbor across the street walking to theirs. You could have had the opportunity to say, hey, good morning, hey, afternoon, how was your day? And you find out that they're doing something. And maybe
you just made a
could have
connection.
you could have provided some service or something to help. And so the opportunity, we have to just be ready and position ourselves for it.
Yeah.
That's really what's going to blaze that path or set us, because money, it really is just, you know, again, energy. It's cash flow.
You know, it's funny that you say that because there's this video that I watch a lot actually, but it's from one of the not money gurus. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to call them, but like he has a lot of inspirational quotes, right? And one thing that he said is this, dude, it's like money is not actually money. It's an idea of money. So money is what did he say, dude? It's like energy coming in and out, but like it's a transaction of I forgot what he said, dude, but the way that he put it is this. It's like, you know, it's what did he say? Transaction for services rendered. Right. And so when he said it like that, dude, like I kind of started thinking differently about the idea of money. Right. So he also mentioned, I have a book. I haven't read it in like a month or two, man, but it's that, Think and Grow Rich. Right. So he mentioned that book. He's like, why do you think that Think and Grow Rich never says the word money? It tells you everything that you can do to gain revenue, but for putting in the work and everything that you do in life, right?
Right.
Well, Joe, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I want the money, right? And I was gonna say this earlier, but I forgot. I don't care for the lavishest things like I was when I was 20. I don't care for the cars, you know, this and that. Like, dude, I just want financial freedom so bad, bro. I want it so bad that I'll do whatever I need to do to get there.
Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
Because it really starts with just living within your means or below your means. I know that's so cliche.
No, not at all. I mean, I drive like a 2008 Kia that's probably on its last leg, you know, like I don't have like a car that I'm paying payments on, you know?
Right.
And then living with them, I'm only paying like $625 in rent, you know? So like, I feel like I'm living pretty below my means. However, it's not enough, dude. Like I need more. And I feel like IT will get me there.
So getting now back into that too, because I did want to go back into IT.
Yeah.
The thing the issue I have with that is a lot of people see that as the next ticket. It's like a gold rush. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest, nowadays, man, it's so watered down that, and everybody's doing it, that the companies that are paying the money that we want, most companies are going to average $20 to $25. I'll bring that down, $18 to $25. I think is pretty much the average for starters.
What?
Anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in IT.
In
okay.
IT.
Well, that's good though, right? Because anything outside of that will be like $10 or $12.
That's true.
But in IT, I know it's not a lot, but at least starting is good at 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So. What winds up happening though, and I see it a lot, is if you're in that $25 to $30 range, 25 is roughly 45, 50K like a year.
I'm trying to be at 80,000.
And see, to do that, you're looking at 35. 35 is about 75K. So
35 an hour? 75K?
35 an hour, yeah. Okay. And upwards 38, 39 into 40 is when you start getting, 80, 90K. The problem with that is our means rise right there with it. You know what I mean? It's not like we have an 80K salary with a, 20K budget. And so money it flows the same. You're gonna still spin and look back and go, dang. Because I mean, you've even said it yourself when you were working in the oil field and stuff like that. So the opportunity was there. Were we ready? How did we answer it? Things like that. And I talk in that sense because it really is trying to address the core things that's kind of the driving factors that's either making or breaking us in the results that we're wanting to get.
Okay.
But again, without getting too, psychological or philosophical about it all, if you were like, you know what, okay, I got it. I know what I got to do. I'm good at spending my money. I save. I do this. I just want to get into IT. To people like that, I would say I've been a boot camp kind of pusher. I would want people to do that because there are companies that it's crazy. First off, tech is so specific nowadays. They'll be like, oh, well, do you have Vue experience or do you have Ajax experience? I just named two. But anyways, do you have that A or B? And you're like, oh, crap, I kind of have B more than I have A.
I see.
And so they'll say, or you went to a boot camp.
Oh, really?
And, and I'm like, I didn't do a boot camp, so I don't know if I'm really going to get it. And the
Just
reason...
because, wait, you're saying if you didn't go to the boot camp, you don't know if you're going to get the job?
Yeah.
Why?
Right. Because what I've learned is, especially during the interview process, in the tech world, there's an understanding of how someone's working. Like someone who went to traditional college will do well at somewhere like USAA or HEB because those are the types of companies that a software engineer level 1 wants someone with that bachelor's degree in computer science because it shows that you went through a process and you stuck to it. Yep, you committed, you did your course. You're that type of person. You can fall in line and do the job.
Okay.
There's going to be a dozen of you. So please, we don't need you to be all innovative and not. They talk about they want you to be, but at the end of the day, no, we have a well-oiled machine over here and we just need you to get in there and work on that machine. Smaller businesses can kind of be more lenient and they don't look at the technicality so much.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so for example, in code or for programmers, software engineer, there's like you said, Python, there's JavaScript. Okay.
Right, which is I've heard of, but I'm not familiar with using it. I've never used it.
I will go one step. There's even Java.
Okay.
JavaScript being, I call it the child of Java, or the web version of Java, because you don't run Java on a server. You have to have the software to. Well, I promise, if somebody technical is listening, they're like, well, technically, but let's just stay surface level, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, so what's going to happen is they're going to go, okay, we need somebody with 5 years of Java experience, as well as another 8 years of JavaScript experience, specifically with Angular JavaScript or Vue JavaScript.
5 years? They're going to ask for that? 5 years?
Yeah. And what happens is between the two, like that's about average 3 to 5 years. Because what that shows is the first year you were kind of experimenting, playing with it. That second year you started putting it into practice, and that third year you kind of not perfected it, but you understand the troubleshooting side of it. You know enough that if something goes wrong, you can get in there and kind of fix it or figure it out. Okay. And you're not just so new that you're like, I hit submit and it broke the server. Yeah. You know what I mean? You kind of understand the standards on how it works.
Okay.
But what I was saying between those three languages right then and there is Vue has its own quirks, has its own direction. Angular, same thing. Java is more the first two are more web-based. Java is more like actual software, getting into software engineering. Same with Python. Python may be more server management, DevOps, things like that, which DevOps means managing the server, like doing operations on the server itself, like running scripts, being able to make the server more efficient, making sure that a lot of the back-end technologies that I was explaining earlier is doing its job. The right ports are staying open, and people that are trying to hack, because that's another thing. Hackers are firing at websites all day, every day.
Really?
As a hacker, I'll hit submit and I'll go eat and come back and make sure if it's connected with the next 20,000 websites in those 10 minutes. Yeah, Now, of course, there's cybersecurity threats in that sense, where if someone is trying to ping the web server too much, then of course you ban that IP or whatever you got to do. So there's there's a lot of stuff to prevent it. But at the end of the day, what companies are asking for in terms of software engineering or IT is going to be very specific. In IT, Nowadays, the forefront in IT is things like cybersecurity,
Right.
maybe management,
Which
IT
is what I would
management
want to
services.
get into cybersecurity. You know what I mean?
And so what they would look for, depending on where you're trying to get, because a lot of the companies these days in the cybersecurity world are like maybe military based, like, or there are companies that have contracts with military based companies or military company or
Okay.
military period. And so what they want is they want certain level of security clearance. They want to make sure you can pass your, initial Department of Defense clearance or whatever the case may be. Your level one, I forgot what they're called, but yeah, I can't remember. But that you're able to at least get that very basic certification for being cleared on security side, because you're going to be handling contracts and stuff like that with private companies that you can't that probably have proprietary information when it
Right.
comes to the military and things like that.
Right.
And so what that means, like, okay, well, what, for example, for day one, what do I need to know? Well, I would need to actually start researching normal networking configurations and how the computers work. Like everything I just described, you would need to know that. Why is that important? Because you got to know how you hack it. Like,
Right.
you got to reverse engineer that. Like,
Yeah.
how do I interrupt your connection? How do I cite to get it? So it starts with that level of curiosity to be able to go, okay, well, how can I get into his computer, or how can I, do these little things? And that's when you learn about packet sniffers and all that other basic kind of stuff.
Damn.
in
So that's
terms of-
getting real technical into it.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha,
And you
gotcha.
learn what software you can do that. And again, though, the cool thing about boot camps, because I'm explaining the more psychology behind it, but with boot camps, they're going to teach you the steps to understand how to do it. So you're going to be someone that does what you know. Like, oh, well, I don't know how packet sniffers work, but I know that I run this software and I do this, then I get the job done. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Which works. Some companies are okay with that. They're like, okay, cool. But man, with AI and the way just the thinking in that sector really works,
Right.
you got to be somebody that's been around computers enough to be like, you know what?
Damn.
You can also try this way, or you could try that way. And really, I think that comes from curiosity, just trying to get into stuff.
Right. Okay. So like, let's say if I were to try to get an IT job after 6 months of completing the boot camp course or whatever certifications, I'm certified, right? Let's say that. You don't think that I'll be able to get a good paying job from IT? After
No,
that?
I think depending on the company, they're going to look more for
Experience.
level one techs.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you're going to have to put in the work somewhere.
Yeah.
And so while the pay may be all right, it's crazy because a lot of memes and the internet says, oh, I just graduated from XYZ boot camp and now I'm a software engineer at Amazon, or I'm a cybersecurity, or I'm a data analyst for Amazon Web Services, and I'm making 150 to 250,000 a year and stuff. I mean, let me kind of take a step back on that. What that really translates is you're probably in Seattle, Washington, or California, where that 250 equates to really 125. Let's cut it in half, guys. Then on top of that, and we're cutting it in half just for living expenses.
Okay.
Then on top of that, if you're in somewhere like there in New York, you got tax on tax on tax on tax.
Ooh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you're being state taxed, you're being taxed locally, you're being taxed bungalow tax. There's so many different levels of tax or layers of taxes that you're
God.
like, bro, the sales tax, like that 250 is not really yours.
So like the pay might be really good, but like the expenses, depending on which states you're in, would like kind of trump that, right?
Yep. It evens it out to where it's like, oh, great. I mean,
shit.
you know what I mean? And so this is why you have people coming out of freaking places like Cali coming into Texas.
I see.
Because Texas starts to let you keep more of your money. We don't have a state tax here
Yeah.
and stuff. So, however, the pay isn't as,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Unless, of course, you're working for like an international or national company that can ultimately pay you and you're working remote. That's, once again, you're crossing the line. But
Right.
if you're just trying to come out, like, first off, I recommend it to a lot of people because I get asked that question a lot, like, what boot camp should I do, or how should I do it? If I had the choice again, I would actually use YouTube. Like, I even use YouTube to this day to kind of refresh on certain skill sets.
Okay.
Because it's all free and it's coming from the actual experts.
Right. Which they do willingly because it gives viewers on their channel, so everybody wins. You know, so it's all good.
Yep. And with that though, see, what you're doing is you're applying practical knowledge. When you can get what you learn from YouTube and then apply it on certain projects,
Yes.
you can now say, you know what? Okay, now I've been able to apply this and do this. And those real world examples, you can start to get your foot in the door with certain companies and stuff like that.
Right.
Start with the startup company. Oh, well, let's talk the boot camp route. So you graduate boot camp. I've always recommended somewhere like UTSA. There was Code Up. I had interviewed with them and was about to actually become a software engineer instructor.
Okay.
But, Code Up went belly up. So it seems like a lot of companies are doing. They're trying to get, everybody's money to come in and learn it. And this is the next problem. Even with somewhere like UTSA.
I see.
You'll get it. You'll get the education. You get out thinking you're going to get a job lined up and nobody's calling. And I don't think it's so much the guarantee of the company that you went to, like UTSA. I think it's, or not the guarantee. I don't think it's the fault of those companies. I think it demonstrates the volatility of tech.
I see.
Tech moves so fast that this month you can be up on top of the world, and then next month they got to let go half the workforce. That's what all these companies are doing. Amazon Microsoft just let go of like 33,000 people, which to Microsoft is like 5% of the workforce, but still that's a lot of people.
That sounds a little discouraging, but at least you're giving me the reality of things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and
Yes.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I really quickly too, I was at Rackspace. They did the same thing. They let people go in.
I thought they closed down over there on Wasm, didn't they?
They did, and now they're like a bare bones company over, I think, back at Data Point Data Center or something like that.
Data Point, that's on 410, isn't it?
Yeah, they moved.
Okay.
They removed again.
That's weird.
And Taskus even bought the spot for a while, and then they moved to New Braunfels and some other spot downtown and some stuff. Yeah, I mean, tech is so volatile these days,
dude.
Never mind AI. It's
just
that's how it works. It moves so fast.
Once I have a goal in mind, man, like, and I put in my mind to something, nothing's gonna stop me from doing it. Right.
Yeah,
So first, I was gonna go to a community college so I can get my degree in cybersecurity or computer science. But then I pitched the old group chat that we had, right, that everybody was part of it. I guess they're not part of it no more. Like, hey, what's the best way to go? I don't know if that was you that responded. It might have been somebody else. But they said if you're just trying to get certification for cybersecurity, just go do a boot camp. So ever since that idea was given, now I'm like, okay, boot camp. I don't care what anyone else has boot camp. But like when you're painting this different perspective on the matter, now it's kind of making me think twice about doing it. So if it's not the boot camp, Joe, what the fuck am I doing wrong, man? Or what do I need to do? Because like I know money is not going to happen like this, right? But I need it. I need it, brother. Like I want my own home. I want my, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to be overall like successful, and then, invest in like ATM machines or have the party bus fleet. Like the ideas that I had, I would like to bring them to life.
I'm gonna so here I'll even say entry level actually. Entry level. So cybersecurity, yep, already cyber defense analyst. You already know you're gonna need some type of Department of Defense contract, some type of security contract.
Right.
Cyber operations specialist, trust and safety specialist. This pays $30 to $48 an hour.
Oh, that's that, bro.
So let's see what they're requiring. These guys are, giving you the typical stuff. Who we are. We don't really care for all that. Let's see. We don't care. I mean, the responsibilities: effectively prioritize competing high priority internal and external customer demands. See, this is like customer service based stuff. You just happen to know tech. Generate and respond to support calls. Like this isn't.
So that's basic level,
sense.
right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
And sure enough, your qualifications: 4+ years of customer service experience or equivalent education, 2+ years of combined experience in customer-facing roles requiring de-escalation.
I got that.
Gonna be dealing with some pissed off customers.
I do collections, bro.
Written. Like none of this talks about cybersecurity. Familiarity with web-based applications such as G Suite, CRM tools, and telephony software. That way,
none of that I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm going to stop it on that real quick, because really what they're trying to say in that, and that's what I would kind of encourage people. What are they really saying in that? They want to make sure you know enough of the software out there that you're not going to be completely lost. That they're going to have someone behind you going, well, you got to click the plus button at the top right. Like if you grew up on computers, you probably have enough common sense to go, okay, let me jump in G Suite and see what G Suite is. That's Google Suite. I mean, if you have a Gmail, you probably did G Suite. If you did Google Docs, that's all you got to do is learn that enough which are you, in order to learn it, you just sign into your own account,
Gotcha.
click around, and just know your way. You're familiar with
so
it.
is the G Suite the drop down window that it shows you like Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive?
Right.
That's all it is?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I didn't know it had a name. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Because, I mean, there's Microsoft's version, which is Office 365.
wait, I've never used that. I didn't know that. But okay, if it's like
You
that.
don't have Word, Excel, PowerPoint,
I had it on
Outlook?
my. I had
oh,
it on
you have
my
a Mac.
No. But I did have it on my old Mac because I tried to go to ITT Tech before they got shut down for embezzlement or cooking the books or something along the lines of that, bro.
Yeah, they did some.
Shady shit.
Yeah,
but
no comment.
because I was a student there, I got all of that for free. So I'm gonna see if I can try to upload it to this Mac. But yeah, so I had Outlook, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. I had all that.
Okay, and so what they want is to, and see, these guys didn't even mention it because they probably don't use Microsoft, which is again enterprise. It's a different layer, of course. They just want to make sure that when you sign into it, you can navigate, like you're not completely lost.
Like you need some help. You need someone to tell you to,
Yeah. And so once you've gotten past the qualifications to even qualify for it, then they start talking about an actual preferred. So bachelor's degree in the related field. So this is where that boot camp or some certification would be like, hey, look, this kind of offsets it. Use the Rover as an honor or a sitter. Rover sounds like a piece of software they'd recommend you do. Experience working with CRM tools and or Zendesk. Zendesk is like an IT support ticketing system kind of software.
Okay.
So you just want to make sure you've kind of navigated. If you haven't, usually I recommend just go download it, or if you can sign in, try to navigate and see if it makes sense to you.
Right.
Experience in digital marketing places, Rover, Airbnb, Uber, stuff like that. If digital marketplaces, not marketing, marketplaces.
Okay.
So Rover is the marketplace they're pretty much going to use. So as long as you've kind of navigated, again, we're young enough that we can say, yeah, they'll overlook that. 1 year of experience in the veterinary animal clinic. Now, this is now more specific though. 1 year experience in insurance claims or adjustments. And then 1 year experience in PR communications or social media and response. Like that's it.
And that's a tech job?
And that was a tech job. That was, what was the name of it? Trust and Safety Specialist Incident.
Oh, probably right now.
Safety. Yeah, it's right on I-10. I'm like, what the?
Okay.
But that's the kind of stuff. I was hoping I was going to get something more like technical.
Tech side,
but the real things you're going to get from stuff like that is like USAA and all these big Amazon Web Service, PayPal, whoever's in Austin kind of stuff is where you're going to get like, we need someone who has actually utilized this software for this many years kind of stuff.
Okay. I appreciate you getting into that for a little bit. It's crazy because, like, I have this vision, Joe, like, it might sound silly, but I have this vision that I'm in a yacht and it's mine, right? And, like, I just see, like, the sun glaring from the water and I'm just, like, laying down and enjoying life. And I want that, you know what I mean? And, like, I see myself having a home too. I see myself being successful, dude. But it's just like I need to start somewhere.
So
I feel like you know what I mean? Like
I'm gonna shift your mind then, because you have to ask yourself: do you want to be the employee or the employer?
The employer.
Companies. Dang, there was a saying that I used to love. It's something along the lines of like, companies want degrees, like, and they want degrees for their employees. But employers, if you're running a business, they want experience. They want demonstrable, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in other words, if I want to do business with, I don't know, Valero, I don't want to go apply there and go through their equal opportunity employer handbook and understand how to be a valuable Valero employee. I want to be Joe Jackson Digital that partners up with Valero. How do I get in that circle?
I see. Okay.
Well, you find out that companies like Valero have bidding opportunities. And so you got to figure out what they bid, when they bid out, how they bid out, how long these contracts last. Because some of them are closed circuit in the sense that they're next 8-year contracts. And so it's like, oh, sorry, you got to go to the next company.
Gotcha.
Fine. This was a mindset I had too as a tech guy, in the sense of, as an employee, I'm going to want to get my way, by the way. Like, I'm going to want something for me, because if you don't, I'll go across the street to your competitor and I'll make them the money that you should have been making.
Right.
And so the argument that I would put in that here overall is I'd probably step back trying to figure out the 1-to-1 ratio on trying to become a better employee to get that kind of money. Because here's what I'll tell you, 100% fact. You know who you don't see on yachts? Amazon employees that are making $250,000.
Okay. So let me rephrase. I'm sorry. So yes, I do want to be the employer, but I feel like I need like a good bread and butter to get me to that point where I can start working for myself and start getting more money and get the revenue that I want.
Hence the now talk about recommendation number 1, your social circle. And then recommendation number 2, sales. Because now let's talk. Now we're kind of diving into really what your dreams are, your goals. You know what I mean? And they're attainable in the sense that, oh, well, then we're not trying to go work a job.
Yeah.
We're trying to get you some money in your pocket. Okay, how do we do that? What kind of opportunities can we do? Well, this is where you have to learn the power of investing and really multiplying the money you do have. You know what I mean? Trying to offset that. This is also the time where it's like, you know what? I realized that for the longest time, I haven't been giving it my all. What would happen if I spent 6 months giving it my all? What is my all? Because here's the cool thing you think about if you think about it. You already have done it. Like the year's almost over and you've already been working a job. You've already been paying some bills. You've already been doing what you've already been doing.
Right.
So what happens if you can automate that in the sense of, okay, let me just go to work and be a robot and pay my bills.
Yeah, fuck that.
But the second, well, here's the fun part. The second you're off of that job, because that job, you're not doing it right now. It doesn't take up your life. They're not about to call you, say, hey, we need you to come in right now, stop your podcast.
Right.
So if that's the case, that means every waking, because they're paying for a body in that seat. You're trading your time for that.
Right.
It's not an investment.
Right.
You're giving away your time
without getting anything back.
Without really getting anything but a couple dollars
to pay for the bills.
So we got to break that mindset and go, okay, you know what? I need to not, every second that I'm not trading my time for that company, I am doing me. That is giving it your all. Bro, if you're so hyped, you're not going to want to sleep. You're going to be up at 2 a.m. going, fuck, who can I call? Hey, bro, are you up? No? Oh, fuck, okay. Hit me up in the morning. And then, because somebody is awake. Money is awake and money is moving 24/7. And remember that third part, opportunity? Bro, you're selling yourself every 5 seconds. So you're going, I don't care if you have to, and you're already doing it too, mind you, but I don't care if you have to go out 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning after these clubs are closing and you're interviewing people as they're shutting down.
Okay.
I don't care if you have to trade your time and say, hey, look, I'll bus tonight just for the opportunity to speak to you. And let them go, all right, cool. Yeah. Look, man, I don't need the money. Hell, you don't even have to say that to people. Just hang out with them and start cleaning. I was the guy that, man, when I'm at the bar and I'm seeing it messed up and they're packed, I'll start stacking some cups and throwing away some trash, and they'll appreciate that. And it gets you in with the bartender. They're like, oh, okay, he's showing some love naturally. He's not, there's no agenda to it. This is his personality.
Right.
That's your opportunity. You get in right that. And that's where that money, that tenfold starts to happen with your investment, because now you're investing your time in yourself in a way that working a job would have never done that. If you do it at the job, they're just going to trade more money for your hours. There's never going to be a moment where they're like, you know what, Arturo?
My bad. No, go ahead.
No, you
don't forget. Hurry.
No. They're like, you know what, Arturo? You've been doing so well here. You don't have to come back a whole year, bro. You've killed it. Don't come back all next year, and we'll just continue to pay you. No company's ever gonna do that. But you know what can? Yourself.
Yeah.
What if you did it to where you automated your let's just think out of the ordinary, and it's for your podcast / your band. You put the videos out on YouTube. And you start interviewing more and more successful and more bigger bands.
Which is the goal.
Yeah. And then here's where the band's fan base starts to listen to it. And next thing you know, you're getting YouTube revenue because that you did some podcast 3 years ago and you've done 100+ videos. And now all of a sudden you're making an extra $5,000-$10,000 a month like it ain't nothing.
Okay,
because people are listening to.
So maybe, Joe, maybe I am on the right track, but I could be a little bit more productive. Now, here's the thing, man. I guess you just answered my question for me. I guess I already know what. I guess I am already doing it, but it's just gonna take some time, and I feel like maybe at time is not what I have. Maybe. But no, I'm already doing it all, man. I mean, like yesterday, dude, like I took my microphone. Adrian helped me out. I was interviewing people. I interviewed I didn't get to interview all the bands because, you know, they were super busy. And, you know, security wasn't an issue because I know the person who's in charge of Twin Productions.
Yeah.
That runs the shows. So because,
Yes.
and the reason why we have like a good relationship is because I sold tickets for my band for the touring bands. She was always happy that I pushed and I hustled to sell tickets. If you don't sell tickets, she's not going to call you back to open up for another touring band. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
But you know what's crazy too, dude? Is like, dude, like, oh, I've seen you open up for so many bands. I was like, oh, thank you, man. I appreciate for you, you know, going to the shows. And see, if it wasn't for me being in the band, I wouldn't have made that relationship with Jen. I wouldn't have been able to do the podcast interviews. I wouldn't have been able to get into the venue. Like, you know, she'd be like, who the fuck are you? You know? So I feel like, okay, everything that I'm doing is on the right track. I guess I just feel like I'm a little impatient. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I feel like, dude, like time is just running out, man, because we're getting older. My son's getting older. Shit's pretty fucked up right now, dude. And we'll close it out with this because we're already going on an hour and 18 minutes. Which I try to keep it short, but like the conversation is just so good, so like I had to let it go a little bit more. My son's mom, dude, she's not a crazy person. We were civil with each other for a long time, dude. But then the boyfriend came in the picture, and I'm not gonna put all the blame on him. Mm-hmm. However, it's very easy for someone to have an opinion about the mother or father of your children, right? Especially if they've never been in the relationship. Of course, they fucking have it. You know, they're a friend, dude. They don't know what the fuck y'all have been through, what kind of shit y'all have dealt with, what kind of relationship y'all have. But they do have a lot of opinions. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, you know, maybe people were telling her like, hey, well, Arturo's a dick. Arturo gets drunk. He talks shit to you. And, you know, like, girl, put him on child support. Like, you're struggling. Like, you have 2 kids. Okay, well, first of all, one of her kids isn't mine. So she should probably hit up that fucking dude's, the dad of him, you know what I'm saying? If she's really struggling, because it's one thing for me to give money for her to take care of my son. But if she's struggling with 2 kids, come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I bring this up, Joe, is this, man. I have this vision, dude, where my son lives with me and I don't even have to go to work. I can work from my phone. I can do it remotely. I make my own hours. So that way I pick him up from school and I drop him off. You know what I'm saying? He's with me all the time. And that's one of the goals that I want now. I want it so bad, bro. So I need that financial freedom. So that way I have enough time to go get him or take him to the doctor or like, you know what I'm saying? And then I can tell her, hey, look, I have enough money to take care of him. Let me just have custody.
Yeah.
Is that fair? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So 2 things I want to touch on that then. One, it reminds me of what this one millionaire was telling me when I was telling him about my problems. He's like, bro, you don't realize how close you are to it. It's like that meme, you know, where they show the guys digging the gold
for the
and
diamonds.
one guy, and one guy gives up and the other.
Yeah.
Whew, that's what I hear when I hear that. First off, it really is then about focus and being able to kind of reflect back on it and being open enough to say, okay, well, this is what I did this week. Let me work back and reflect that. And then again, you have to have your circle of accountability. Yes. You know, that opportunity circle to where it's like, okay, this is what I did, you guys, and they can call that out. But just to kind of relate with you really quickly too.
Yeah, I want to hear your story too. I was going to bring that up.
Man, bro. So my baby mama, 5 years, bro. 5 years of toxicity. I was accused of
cheating.
Yeah, I was accused of cheating with everybody, family members, everybody, even my own family members. Like she thought I was. Yeah,
she thought you were like fucking with your cousin or something.
Yes.
Oh, bro.
It was that wild.
Shit.
And I was accused of being physically abusive, mentally, verbally, like all of that. And it was wild because it showed where other people's true colors were when they heard it. You were either part of the circle that was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, I believe it. Or that crew that was like, is that possible? And I hated that version.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, it plants that seed of doubt now. And it's like, I got to work twice as hard to be not that person.
To clear your name, I guess. Yeah.
And then, bro, there's your true circle. You know, people like JT, Jose, Shane in our crew and stuff, where she reached out to them and they came back like, bro, your girl said this and this is what I said to her, and that I cut it or whatever. And I'm like, thank you, bro, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did get to one of my friends who I considered a best friend, the godfather of my kids, and it ripped me, bro. I found out the beginning of this year about it. Like the big crux or the turning point was at the end of last year where she went over, to California to be with him and all this, and they played it off. Oh, we're just friends, and now they're throwing the whole, oh, since you want to accuse us, we really are now. And I'm like, like bro, I had to go through therapy, counseling, like everything.
Oh, they were seeing each other. Oh, my bad, bro. I thought you were saying that she convinced him that you were a bad guy and he believed it.
Yes,
my bad.
It was
that. But then it was
that.
like comfort, like, come here, I got you. And then it just led to other things. Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Because the whole time from 2022 or 2021, I remember he was talking. It was a point to both of us. We were both kind of like going, hey, bro, did she tell you something? Because right now this is what's... And it was wild because now looking back, I understand why he was giving me the one-word lines. It's like, how my fiance and others are saying in my story. They're like, first off, he was never a friend. He was staring at you this whole time, wanting to get in. And now he feels like he got in and that he wants what you have. It was that simple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes sense. Because here's the thing. No matter the problem, bro, like you wouldn't want to be in that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But hey, we have our reasons. And he believed what he believed. And in his mind, I am that guy. And so I had to learn, first off, not caring about what other people think, but I had to be okay with the fact that, because my kids to this day, they're like, oh, we love him. He has a nickname and they call him that. And I had to be able to kiss them goodbye and say, hey, treat mommy and boyfriend, right. Be nice to them. I had to swallow my pride on that.
Yeah.
Not going to say it was an easy path because I had my moments.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I had my moments of bursting out or trying to get answers. Really, It was me trying to get answers like, wait, was this really happening? Wait, so that means, you know what I mean? Just trying to figure it out.
You started connecting the dots. Right?
Yeah. And of course, what that meant was, oh, so you're stalking us. Oh, so you're no, I'm a human being that just figured out that my best friend and girl got together. And in their minds, oh my God. So it killed me, bro. Damn, it's cool that I could say this now because when I used to say it, I used to break down. And now I'm just like, I guess it's that confidence that's come because the proof has been in the pudding.
Right.
This whole time, I'm the one with the kids. I'm the one stressing and struggling. I'm thinking that when she has the kids, they're chilling and doing all their good stuff. Well, what's done in the dark will sure come to surface or come to light. And sure enough, it turns out the kids weren't being taken care of when they're with them. They would leave them and let older sister watch it. There was just a whole bunch of stuff going on that I'm like,
fuck, yeah. See, man, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is one thing that I realize is this is like, because my son lives with this mom, dude, I can't control whatever happens in that house, man, even if it's bad or good. You know what I'm saying? Like when we separated, man, like things were gonna change for the rest of my life, and I'm still trying to accept this whole change. But go on, continue.
No, I feel you on that too. What was told to me over and over and recommended from, my therapist and close friends and family was simply focus. You have this is funny because I used to be back in the day when the internet was kind of growing and stuff.
Right.
There was a forum, online dating advice forum, and I was like this wannabe counselor, this internet counselor, and it worked though. I had so many women in my inbox going, "Man,
what?
Your advice helped. Thank you." Yeah, I had one girl who I told her boyfriend, they were high school, so I was young too, but they were high school, and he was like, I want to do this for my girl on prom. Like, what can I do? And I wound up telling my advice on how to like touch her ear and hold her and all this other little stuff.
Yeah.
And she reached out. She was like, were you the one that told me? Because he's not that kind of person. I was like, what? Well, the biggest advice we would offer people, especially during breakup, is NC, no contact.
Okay.
And we would say the initial recommendation of 30 days, no contact. If you can go further than that, awesome. If you have kids, we understand, but try 30 days, full no contact.
Right.
And it's funny because you could say it all day and recommend it and do it until you go through it. Well, when I was going through it, it's hard to go through that because you want those answers. You want to be like, why would you do this to me? Like, I fucking put all this time. Like, ugh.
It doesn't change anything,
But
though,
Nope. And the beauty of no contact, though, is it really does reframe your mind. Like, it changes how you're thinking at what you're focused on. It gives you time
to feel.
And so what I would recommend in doing that is refocusing and being able to get to a point to go, okay, you know what? It is what it is. The reality is this.
Yeah.
And children are resilient. and children are also intelligent.
Right.
So they're malleable, they're resilient, they're intelligent. Like, in other words, you know, you don't have to worry about those types of moms that run after their kids, the bubble moms. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, he fell. Let him fall. Let him break a bone. Anyway, but the beauty of that is knowing to yourself, you know what? There's gonna be that time where I'm gonna get my son. I will get my son. That is my goal. How it happens, the how doesn't even matter. You know what you want. And so what that will mean for you, it's crazy because, man, it can mean a lot of things. Maybe it can mean full time. Maybe it can mean working out a way to where you get him longer. Like, I'm going to have him half a year or for a whole year or something. Right. And mom, you go out and live your life. Like, go do something. You've had him this many years, let me. Yeah. Or having an attorney to actually go in and say, you know what, I'm going to start getting him more.
So I won't say the plan since it's going to be live and posted, what I plan to do with that. But right now, man, and it kind of hurts, dude. But I blocked her parents because at the end of the day, well, here's the thing, Joe. I was getting my son on my days off like since he was little. Every weekend. Every weekend, dude, I would get him, you know, and like, I'm not saying it like it's a chore, but, you know, like, I was like, okay, that's fair. You know, I'll take him. And so that's why I'm kind of upset that she got me for back pay too, brother. Because, like, and I get it, man. A lot of women out there will do that no matter if you're being a good dad or not. The thing is, though, Joe, is like, whatever reason she had to do that to me, I don't care. What I do care about is how it made me feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, that shit doesn't matter to anybody else, but, you know, so I blocked her and her parents, and I'm just like not communicating at all. And I feel bad because my son's been calling me, but I feel like they're going to be in the background if he does call me, so I haven't answered. So let them think whatever the fuck they want about me, bro, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is like what I know, how I feel, what I'm going to do. They don't give a shit about that, obviously. It won't change anything. So at some point, man, I will come out successful. Just right now, this is the transition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and here's the thing. In court, they don't speak English. They speak legalese. So this is why you need an attorney to paint you in a prettier light.
Because emotion doesn't really matter in court. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Nah. And you need an attorney that's going to speak to the judge in a way that's like, well, Your Honor, we need to go ahead and actually modify the standard way of this support order. We need to go ahead and adjust from the 50% and do that. They say it in a way that the judge listens and he's like, okay, looking at the chart, we'll go ahead and set that. Mom, how do you feel about that? You know what I mean? It's some type of back and forth. Well, that's what you need. And it's funny because actually it's not funny, but it's layers to it. It's all in baby steps.
Right.
And I would say, man, the beauty, it's a beauty from this curse. Like it's a flower going in the concrete right now. But the beauty you have right now is the ability to 100% focus on whatever you're needing to do to get to that income.
To make it happen, yeah.
Because I'm telling you as a father that I'm still fighting. And what sucks with the court order, because here's the thing, I'm basically paying to keep my kids. My kids, they live with me. Mom all day will say, oh, no, they're with me. No, Mom. I can show you proof in the text messages where, hey, I'm working this weekend. I'm going to need you to get the kids again. I just had them for the last 4 weekends in a row. And then when you do the math over the course of the years that you had them, you're like, dude, I've had them 90% of the time. And of course, you have friends going, I told you so. And you're like, well, what do you do? Because when you go to court, judge doesn't want to hear that. Yeah. Judge is like, well, because here's what happened. I'm telling you, I had all my paperwork. I'm all in my suit. I'm all good to go. And I'm like, Your Honor, listen, I've had the babies every day for the following years. They're with me or my grandma or my mom, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then Mom, when she gets her turn, she just simply goes, well, yeah, we had an agreement to do this because I needed to get myself back on my feet. And the judge goes, well, the attorney general, because later on I'm like, what the hell just happened? The attorney general goes, well, technically, y'all both were saying that y'all were doing 50-50. And I'm like, but it wasn't. They're going, well, it doesn't matter the days or whatever. Yeah. Y'all both technically within court under oath said that y'all were sharing custody.
Right.
Like there's just certain technicalities in the wording of what we're saying that makes it a standard to say, oh, okay, well then as long as y'all were doing 50-50 and cooperating, then there's nothing to challenge. And I'm sitting here like, well, no, I'm saying I've had them more than 50-50.
They're like, oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Technically, it's not. And I'm like, oh my God. So you're losing for losing. You know what I mean?
Right. So this is why I'm kind of leaning towards the attorney thing, because I feel like emotion doesn't matter. My fucking word doesn't matter for shit anymore to nobody.
Yeah.
If I have a lawyer representing me, then at that point, people will pay attention.
Do you have a court order now?
No, it was a mediation, brother. Like, it wasn't even court. Like, it was a mediation. It was just like, hey, we just need you both of y'all to say yes or no. Damn it. And then here's the paperwork. Dude, I just wanted to get it over with, man. Like, you know, like I could have challenged it too, bro. He's like, well, we can go to court. Yeah. But, like, if you do that, I got to pay lawyer fees. I got to get a lawyer. I got to, like, do this and that. So, you know, at this point, man, it's going to be a custody battle now because, like, the mediation's already over. So.
I'll say this now at this point. This is what a lot of parents would say too then, is do you feel your son's in harm's way with them? Okay. And do you feel that she's going to try, like living there with mom and dealing with just this day to day? Do you feel that mom, maybe even boyfriend, your choice, and if you want to include them in that or not, do you feel that mom is doing the best she can as far as just trying, by the best, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so yeah, you feel like mom's trying. Right. Do you feel that mom is mentally of capacity to raise her kids? Then, bro, you got a blessing. I would go ahead and step back, focus 1,000% on you because, bro, the second you roll in with an attorney that you've paid for, and again, it's not to prove her wrong. You know what I mean? It's not to step up and be like, bitch, I got you now. No, it's to go, you know what? I'm ready to get my son more. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank
you.
Yeah, here, I've been paying my bills. I've been doing my thing. I'm ready to get my son more.
Right. It's not like to get off of child support. It's not to, like, you know, well, actually, it kind of is to get off of child support, but that's a journey, right? But also, so, like, you know, so that way he can live with me, and if I still have to pay, at least drop the money down. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, too, though, man, is like if she's struggling to take care of 2 kids, I think it's just fair if I have my son with me. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, part of why I was saying that actually was because the focus then is if the answer to those questions was yes, then the most important thing is you got to put your son above you. Okay. And the second you do, you'll realize, damn, I'm in my feelings. Yeah. Which we are. You and I were in our feelings. I can't wait. Because here's the headache on my end. As the person with the kids, that works until I need to make a decision for them. Mom still has the power. This is Texas. So mom is the original conservator. So what does that mean? If the kids are sick and I want to take them to the doctor down the street that's closest to me because it makes sense and I like the way they talk, and mom says no, then I gotta, now technically I'm able to pay, but in reality, they actually have a PCP thanks to mom. Another one, I can't take them to the school, the elementary school that's down the street from me that makes it sense. Because I have them most of the time, because mom wants to put them in another school, which she hasn't even registered them for. But I got to deal with it so it's those little headaches that I'm like, man, I can't even operate out of having them. So I got to beg. Well, in your case, man, I would genuinely be like, you know what? She's doing what she can. There's going to be a point where here's the cool thing too. If you can try to be in contact with just your son, if there's a way to communicate with just him, or if you just got to be short enough with mom to be like, hey, can I get him this weekend? Hey, can I do this every once in a while? And just make sure you're actively involved. Yeah. Here's the cool part about that. Actively involved means knowing his schedule. Right. You know what I mean? Does he do Little League next week? Okay, cool. Let me make sure I'm there cheering him on, and I'm walking and I'm going home. I'm going to fucking cry in my car, bro. I'm going to sit there and cry my ass off knowing I would love to take my son to dinner. Yeah. And celebrate his victory and be dad and son. And we go home and talk about it and we can practice together. Yeah. But you know what? The strength behind it as a man is you did a good job, son. I'm fucking proud of you. And you walk off. Yeah.
And I know that will come, man. It's just right now, like, you know, I'm just cutting all communication just for a little bit. Yeah. Not forever. Yeah. You know, and there is a way for me to talk to my son because he'll call me up from Kids Messenger to message me or call me. But if not, man, I was thinking about just going to his school too and going on his lunch, you know, and then just dipping, you know, like without going through her or her parents. As long as he sees that I'm still around, you know what I mean?
Bro,
So,
I would do this, man. If you can, I would do it as much as you can. Make a routine. If you can do it every day, do it every day. If not, do it twice a week. Like, do it enough to where you're literally a thought in his head every week actively.
which I think I'm already at.
Okay, good.
You know, so yeah, man, because every time that I have him, dude, like we bond and we chill and we hang out. I don't know if he hangs out with his mom when he's at home, maybe not, but you know. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe, I appreciate you coming in, man, and talking about that, and I hope that things get better for you, brother, with you know, the mother of your kids. And I know that this is a challenge for everybody, men all around, particularly, you know what I'm saying, that we have to go through. And just for the record, I want to say, dude, that I would never say anything bad about my son's mom, man. And she has her reasons for putting me on child support. And, you know, maybe I just wasn't doing 100%. I'm not afraid to admit it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be like, I did everything. Why did she do this to me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say that, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I will continue to do the best that I can with all my endeavors, including being a father. And I hope that you and I can connect more, brother, because where you're at in life right now is where I want to be.
All right, down.
You know what I'm saying? So, but all right, man, I appreciate it, dude.
Same here, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, wait, tell everybody where they can. I forgot to do that. Tell everybody where they can find you if you're still active on social media, or if you have anything that you want to promote. Or
Absolutely. So you can catch me, Mr. Joe Jackson. Mr. Joe Jackson everywhere. IG, TikTok, Facebook. I'm still, you know, I'm an older age guy, so you'll see me on all the networking stuff. But I do have quite a following with me on there. There was a point in time where I did a lot of digital marketing and promotions and stuff like that. I'll be getting back into the game. But like I said, you know, my relationship, I had to cut all of that out for a while. I'll be coming back in the game, giving business advice, giving digital marketing advice, giving tech advice, cybersecurity, all of that. So definitely follow me, Mr. Joe Jackson.
Is there a website where they can find you or find your services?
Same, MrJoeJackson.com. Company is JacksonDigitalTX.com. But again, you'll find me at Mr. MrJoeJackson.com or IG or Facebook, and you'll see me.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.